Hey guys, my name is Matsumiyo, and welcome to our episode of Sunday Mailbox. This is a video series where you, the viewer, can submit your gaming-related questions, and then I'll give my humble opinion on them. To get the formalities out of the way real quick, if you'd like to submit your own question that could be featured in an upcoming episode, you can do so by leaving a comment down below, or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. The first question comes from Alan, and it is, what are your thoughts on the recent bank events in Rainbow Six Siege? I don't know about you guys, but I'm pretty disappointed by this event because it's literally just an advertisement for Netflix. A while ago, I thought that the Battle Pass was going to be the final thing that Ubisoft could do to monetize Rainbow Six Siege, but apparently I was wrong because they've now gone a step further. That means that now you have to buy the game. There is, of course, the in-game currency to buy cosmetic items. There's some cosmetic items for some reason that you can't even use that in-game currency, so that's now useless. You now have the season pass. There is obviously the battle pass that's about to happen. They have the seasonal alpha pack system, and now they're literally putting ads in the actual game itself. Now, personally, I think the reason why I'm so disappointed by all of this is that they didn't put in the time and effort to actually make this a special event. If we take a look at the actual game mode that they added, it has to be one of the laziest things that Ubisoft has ever done. Now, I'm not expecting something along the same lines or level as the recent Halloween event or Rainbow Six Siege's Magic, but this is just pathetic. It's bank on a mode that hardly anyone plays on, and especially a map that is not balanced for that mode whatsoever. Because there's an objective down below in the basement, everyone picks it every single time because it's the most fortified. It has to be the most fortified location in Rainbow Six Siege. There's literally only 2 entrances. There is not a single wall that offense can get through. There isn't any verticality or hatches that they can take advantage of. Really, all that defense has to do at that point is slow down their progress, run out the clock, and they pretty much get a free win. Like, it is incredibly unbalanced. Really, the only thing that Ubisoft brought to the table here is that they introduced some new cosmetic items for 2 of the operators. And while I will admit that they do look really good, I think they did a great job with them, the cherry on top to all of this is that those cosmetic items are incredibly expensive. Not only can you not, for some reason, buy, let's say, the weapon skin individually, you have to buy it all in a complete package, but it is also very expensive. It essentially costs the same amount as an elite skin. You don't get an elite animation with it, but it's essentially around the same price. And so all in all, if you can't tell, I'm not really too happy with the event. At the end of the day, it probably doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because ads are everywhere, and I guess they're gonna kind of creep into our video games, but I kind of was hoping that they wouldn't creep into our video games. If they did something special, one thing that someone recommended is why not have Vigil and Hibana being the only operators that you could play as. So having like 5 Vigils on a defense running around could have been really interesting. It wouldn't have been balanced whatsoever, but at least it would have been a fun twist on a mode that we've never experienced before. Something along those lines. Like, that would have been way cooler than what we got. And so let me know what you guys think about all of this. Am I the only one that's disappointed? Are we okay with having essentially just ads in Rainbow Six Siege from here on out? Do you want to see more of these crossover events? I will say that the music at the beginning when you're in the lobby is awesome. Like, they did a really good job with that, but I felt like they could have just done so much more. And so give me your guys' thoughts down below. The next question comes from Tyler, and it is, what do you think of being able to use your secondary as you climb ladders in Rainbow Six? I feel that as soon as you're on one, I'm extremely vulnerable and I try to avoid ladders at all times. You are 100% right. Ladders in this game are essentially a great way to get taken out. Especially on a map like Chalet, this would be an amazing addition. I cannot tell you how many times I've just simply wanted to climb up the ladder onto the 2nd floor balcony outside of the library, but because I know that that window is open, anyone that is looking anywhere near that ladder is essentially going to have a free kill. There's nothing that I can do about it. You could have someone go across the map and try to watch it, but sometimes that doesn't even do anything as long as defense has the right angle on said window. And so if you have the ability to use your secondary in those situations, while you would still be at a significant disadvantage, like, let's be completely honest, you're pretty immobile, that you can only go up one route, it's vertical, it's a ladder, and they're gonna be using a primary weapon against you, like, they're still probably going to win a lot of the time in that situation. At least it gives you a chance to come out on top. I think that this would be an awesome addition. Now, I will admit that it seems like Ubisoft has been sort of phasing out ladders from the multiplayer. Every single map that has come out, I feel like since then, really doesn't take advantage of ladders. There are a couple of exceptions here and there, like on canals, for example. They do have a few ladders, but by and large, it seems like Ubisoft has kind of realized that having ladders in this game doesn't really make for the most satisfying gameplay. And so all in all, I am right there with you. The only things I can think of for why Ubisoft may never actually add something like this into Rainbow Six Siege is, first of all, it'd probably take a lot of time for them to add this on in. They have to bring in new animations. They would actually have to allow, maybe their engine has some sort of limitation while you're climbing the ladder that doesn't allow you to use your secondary. That's also a possibility. But on top of that, as we just talked about, because they've been seemingly phasing out a lot of the ladders on these maps, they may just not think that it's needed at this point. They may have plans to essentially just phase out the ladders almost entirely from the game. And while yes, they might pop up every once in a while, it's just not worth putting in the effort if they're not really a large part of Rainbow Six Siege. And so that is also a possibility. The next question is, what do you think should be the top priority for Infinity Ward to fix Modern Warfare? That is quite the question. I feel like the main things I want to see them address is trying to improve the netcode and really just the overall map balance. Right now, I don't think that the netcode is terrible. It's at least somewhat serviceable, but there are so many occasions, and I'm sure I'm not alone on this, where it feels like you get taken out instantaneously. When you're going against someone and you're trying to take them out, the TTK actually feels really good. It feels like you earned it, but when you're on the receiving end, it seems like there's nothing that you could actually do to come out on top, which can get really frustrating when it happens over and over and over again. The other thing that I definitely think they need to improve upon, and I don't know if this is actually something that they can achieve, is their map balance and just the flow and design of these maps. Yeah, it's really cool when you're playing on District, the large 32 versus 32 map, but it's incredibly frustrating when every single building is accessible and you could always have someone on top of a rooftop taking you out at any given moment. It really destroys the flow of the map. Yeah, it's cool, it's realistic, but it makes for an awful gameplay experience. On top of that, you have the pretty atrocious spawn system. There are videos out there where you have players that are constantly spawning directly in front of another player over and over and over and over again. Now, I realize that you're never going to have a perfect spawn system in a game like this on small maps. Moments like this are going to occur every once in a while, but they shouldn't happen this often. You should be able to at least establish a foothold or at least an idea of what's happening around you and then move out to where you want to go and not get taken out immediately. That just currently isn't the way that things work. In general, though, those would be the few things that I would like to see Infinity Ward focus on. Obviously, I want to see weapon balance always be a top priority. I feel like they've done a reasonable job with that. The 725 went from being overpowered where everyone was using it, and now I only get taken out by it a couple of times a day. And so I think they're on the right track there, but these are more overarching issues that I think need some greater attention. The next one comes from Ham Sandwich, and it is, should players get access to more or every operator during the free weekend? The point of the weekend is to give players a taste to see if they like the game. Having only recruit for a new player is very unfun. So I haven't personally participated in a free weekend before. I haven't created a new account so that I could play with the brand new people that are jumping in for the first time. I just haven't seen that as something that I've ever wanted to do. But I always assumed that when you got one of these new accounts that you would be able to unlock new operators like you would if you bought the game normally. So you get like 500 renown and then you can unlock one of the base operators from there. And while yes, that is going to slow down the progress a little bit, I don't think that's completely unreasonable. I have a feeling the reason why Ubisoft doesn't give out every single operator during these free weekends, or even the base ones, is that they want to slow down the progress of people who are just trying to smurf or to cheat. If people want to smurf in this game, they're going to have to grind it out like everyone else, which is going to be a bit of a deterrence. If you had every operator unlocked, I have a suspicion that more people would create these accounts so they could have an alt account that they could play with lower ranks. That is something that Ubisoft wants to avoid. My advice is that if you are new and you're struggling to unlock some of these operators and you want more of a taste of what this game has to offer, is to play the situations. Not only does completing them reward a lot of renown, so you can then use that renown to unlock some of the base operators, but it also gives you a good understanding of what this game has to offer. It goes over a lot of the base mechanics so that you're a bit more more prepared for when you do jump into the multiplayer. It's not a one-for-one, it's not exactly what you can expect, but it should give you a better idea of what this game has to offer. All in all though, while I will admit it would be nice if Ubisoft gave out a couple of these operators for free, like Thatcher or Ash for example, just so you didn't have to play as Recruit for your first couple of games, I can also understand why they haven't done this. There are mechanics in place and systems that will allow you to unlock them faster, you just have to use them. Yeah guys, that is what it for today's episode of Sunday Mailbox. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed in today's video. Would you like to be able to use secondary weapons while climbing ladders in Rainbow Six Siege? Do you think that's not something that they should add into the game? Give me your guys' reasons why or why not down below in the comments. As always, if you'd like to submit your own question for an upcoming episode, you can also leave a comment or by sending me a Facebook or Twitter message. But until next time, guys, have a good one and take it easy.